Well, I do consider this an honor and a privilege to be here with Mr. Jimmy Duck Holmes. Last time I heard an interview with you, you were visiting Jazz Fest. You came in and did an interview with a couple people at WWOZ and the Jazz Tent. You just came out with a new album at that point.
Yeah, I believe so. Tyler, it is what it is.
What's that?
Yep, I think we had released it sometime.
What's the name of that album?
It is what it is.
It is what it is. How'd you get that nickname Duck?
Now, I knew that question was coming. I get asked that all the time.
I know the answer, but maybe, does anyone else want to know the answer to how do you get that nickname Duck? Okay.
Well, probably 3 or 4 answers, but which one is correct, I don't know myself. But anyway, they say when I was a small toddler, I was just beginning to walk, I walked real bow-legged and got around, saw like a duck. And along came the name. Because my birth name was Jimmy Charles Holmes, and the local would call me Duck. And then as time grew and grew, and I got identified with the guitar, they started calling me Jimmy Duck Holmes. And I get asked the question also, which one do you prefer being called? I'll answer either one of them. Jimmy or Duck or Mr. Holmes, don't make any difference.
What if they sign your check, Jimmy Duck Holmes? Is that one that's going to cash, isn't it?
Well, sometimes it can be a problem when they ask for an ID, because the ID doesn't have Jimmy Duck on it. But around home, the local, they know who I am.
All right, as long as you know somebody at the bank
right, exactly.
with that name. Now, you grew up in a really big household. I believe it was 10 children from one side and 4 from another, something like that?
It was 14 of us. I had 9 siblings, 10 with myself, and my mom raised 4 of her siblings. A couple of her sister's kids who passed, their mom passed when they was real young, so my mama took them all on, raised 14 kids in a 4-room house. We slept from 2 to 3 deep every night, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom.
Oh my gosh!
Well, you keep warm in the wintertime like that.
Yeah. What about summer?
Yeah, but we made it.
All right.
Well, we made it.
What was Sunday dinner like?
Biscuits on Sunday morning, biscuit pudding for Sunday lunch. Same biscuit. The leftover cereals.
All right.
The leftover biscuits from breakfast. Some portion of the Sunday lunch or Sunday dinner was going to be the biscuit pudding. And you didn't argue wondering what you was going to eat. Sunday was going to always be chicken. Didn't have nothing else. Had a yard full of chicken, turkey, geese, so forth. Now, during the winter months, up until probably late spring, you could say you was gonna have some pork, because those men would kill those pork pigs back during the winter months, and they would preserve them. So we kind of had a little meat up until summer. But summer months are gonna be basically vegetables or chicken.
All right. Now, I'm assuming you had some sort of farming going on at that point too.
Yep, I was raised on a farm. My dad had which is considered 80 acres wouldn't be a farmer, now you'd be a garden raiser. He raised all 14 of us off of 80 acres, and the whole 80 acres was not farmland. Row crop. Part of it was used for the hogs and the cattle, and my mama's vegetable garden. We survived.
People take for granted now being able to go to the grocery store and get everything they need, right?
Yeah, I tell my grandkids all the time now, each week we knew what we was going to eat. Didn't have to wonder what mom was going to cook. Once the vegetable garden got ready, you're going to be the vegetable soup, cornbread, probably peaches off the peach orchard, some form, whether it's peach cobbler, peach pie, same thing with the pear. You know, kids now, mom pretty much had to put a menu on the wall nowadays. They had to cook a different meal for each child, a different portion for each child. Not during my time.
Yeah.
You're going to eat it or go to bed hungry.
Wow. What was it like in the area? Where did you grow up? And it sounds like it was kind of country, but I mean.
Yep. blue place called Benton, Mississippi, which gave birth to a unique style of blues music. And if you don't know what Benton is, if you leave here on I-10 and catch, or you could go 61 on, the best route would be I-10 or 55 north to Jackson, and 49 running straight to Baton. Matter of fact, I'm 22 miles north of Jackson.
All right.
From where I am now, approximately 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned Bentonian. Now, that's a place, but it's also a style of music.
Yep.
It's a style of blues that
it was
really different from, say, Chicago blues.
Well, that's what the researchers say. I never try to put it in a category. I just learned to play it.
Sure.
Sitting around some guys who played it. And it's titled the Bentonian style of blues, and it's known worldwide in the music industry as the Bentonian style of blues. Now, that being said, it was originated or started by a guy called Henry Stuckey. And under Henry Stuckey came Skip James, Jack Owens, and a couple of more. And the story goes, was it Switzerland, Italian, anyway, they proclaimed they taught Henry Stuckey, which was during the time of World War I. Now, if you put your thinking cap on a minute, Henry Stuckey served in the First World War, and he was stationed in Europe for a month or so. Now, if you are fighting the war, you ain't got much time to play on a guitar. Not saying that he didn't learn some pointers from them over there, but undoubtedly he had to already been familiar with it, because if you fighting a war, you ain't got time to sit around barracking and playing a guitar. No. And my thing is, not discrediting him, if they taught him, then why they come over here looking for me to teach them? Look like when he left over, he brought it all with him. If that's where he learned it, I don't know.
Yeah. I think you got something there.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned one of those names is Jack Owens.
Yep.
He had a big impact on you as a player, right?
Well, the last 9 or 10 years of his life, I pretty much was around him every day by way of the Blue Front Cafe, because his wife had passed, and before she passed, he really didn't get out a lot playing. You'd have to go to his house to hear him play. But then once she passed, he started kind of moving about a little bit, and he would always end up at least 3 or 4 times a week sitting around the blue tar, and he kept his guitar with him at all times. Mm-hmm. And he would just get out and tell me, let's play now. I got introduced to the guitar by Henry Stuckey. He was my neighbor. The very first guitar I put my hand on belonged to him.
All right.
And you know how you pick it up, put it down, year or 2 years, pick it back up, put it down.
I've been doing that for about 40 years, so
and,
yeah.
And after Jack started hanging around, and I think it must have been a divine intervention from someone above. I wanted to play the guitar with no certain particular style, and he was determined to teach me, and he couldn't. And he would come every day. Blues Farm wasn't doing it. I had 2 or 3 guitars sitting around, and he would tell me, he didn't say, come on, let's play the guitar. He'd tell me, come on, let's pick the guitar. And he would come every day, and I think he was kind of self-conscious, and he didn't want to open up. He didn't know how to teach me. He didn't know how to, because I don't either. He didn't know how to tell me to run an A chord or an E chord or close this one, and he got kind of frustrated. And he told me one day, he said, boy, you got to learn this. He said, what you do, you just watch my fingers. Watch what I'm doing. He couldn't tell me to play this note, that. He told me to watch what he was doing. Right. He was just that determined.
Did you notice that there's suddenly a guitar right beside you?
Well, I kind of fussed at him. How can you tell a person you're a mechanic or a carpenter if you don't ever have a hammer or a wrench? You knew one close by. A true carpenter, you say you got a hammer, he gonna have one not far from him.
Yeah.
And a mechanic, you say, you mechanic, you say you got a screwdriver or adjustment wrench, he got one. So now how can I say I'm a guitar player if I don't have one? Somewhere not saying I'm gonna play it.
Well, this one found its way to you just a second ago, so I guess my next question would be, could you show us a little bit of this approach to the guitar that you're talking about?
Now, I'm gonna run a note or a chord, And I get asked the question all the time, well, how's the tune? When I tell them I don't know. I know how to tune in a particular Victorian style, but how it's tuned, I don't know. Now, the music profession, some say it's tuned and open, some say it's minor. Now, trust me, I don't know. But I know how to tune. I learned it from the guy called Jack Owens. And I'll admit it's tuned crazy. Yes, I'm going away and leave you. I've got to worry you on my mind. Now, the music, the people who really research, they say this particular run here is the signature of the Victorian style. They say that's the signature of the Victorian run. You hear me? Yes, I'd rather be the devil. Rather be the devil than to be that woman's man. That's the song that Skip and Jack both did a version of. And now who did it first, I don't know. Now it's another particular run, and I heard Mr. Waterman made mention of it. And when a particular guitar player run this particular run, you can say somewhere down the line he heard Skip James play. I ain't got no special rider here. I ain't got no special rider here.
There's something that separates just knowing how to play blues, like technically, and living the music. Like it's a story for you, right? You're communicating something more than just words, notes, and chords. When you play a song, what do you think you're doing?
Well, the guys I sit around, the guys that I come up on the playing blues, they didn't fabricate none of the lyrics. Either they had lived it, what they sang about, or they knew someone who had. And that's why they were saying, well, it has to be done from your heart. Like the one Hard Times Killing Flow, it relates to Skip leaving Mississippi in search of a better way of life. He didn't find it, not right away anyway. Yeah. And growing up poor, going out on a spree, get drunk, got a hangover the next morning, Monday morning, got to go to work, or a bad relationship with your spouse or your girlfriend, and all that type of stuff is true.
Do you see any connections between the gospel music that was happening or is happening in the blues? Like any influence?
Gospel tell a story pretty much related to Christ and Christianity, and the blues lyric and blues music tell a story related to everyday life. Now, I experienced, I watched it over a period of time. Now, not all Christians relate blues music or blues period to sin. Now, I tell people a lot of times, you can go to church on Sunday and testify about you got drunk last night or you got broke. The first thing the preacher going to tell them, we're going to pray for them. But now you take a guitar and start telling that same story, they're going to run you out the church. I don't know why. It becomes sinful once you put the instrument of the guitar to your testimony. Mm. Not all religious believers look at it that way, but especially in the black community, but it's not all the ones in the black community. They feel like a guitar itself is a devil instrument. I don't know why. Not all of them now.
It's interesting because I know in New Orleans, you'll see some gospel churches that have a guitar player, that have a band that you just change the lyrics and bring a bar. You got a party.
That's what I figured. I mean, I'm no music professional, but I know this here. Music has no end. It has no language. It speaks music, especially guitar, speaks the same language worldwide. Mm-hmm. E string is the E string, whether you're in Mississippi or Hong Kong, China. Mm-hmm. Same thing. I mean, that's not Chinese blues or Japanese blues. It's blues. Mm-hmm. Or American blues is blues. Or German blues is still blues. You can take that same guitar right there, never touch the string, and go to Italy and still play the same notes.
Yeah.
That's why it's universal.
Now, some people find their solace in the church, and other people find it in juke joints. Some people go to juke joints to get rid of their troubles. And you've spent your whole life as now an owner, but also growing up, I believe your father owned a juke joint?
Right. My father and mom started in 1948. I took over in 1970.
What was the name? It's the Blue Front Cafe.
Blue Front Cafe.
It's still open.
Still open.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the oldest.
They say they know it's the oldest one in the state of Mississippi.
Oldest juke joint in the state of Mississippi.
Right.
What do you think of that, guys?
That being, let me go a little bit further. Now, that's because it's original. From day one, it was a juke joint. You got a lot of juke joints. You got some places, probably building-wise, probably older than that one. It was original, started as a juke joint, and it has survived the whole 60-some years.
If those walls could talk, what would they say?
Huh?
At least, what are a couple things those walls would say if they could talk?
Oh, man. A lot of people be in trouble, the one that's not dead. If those walls could talk, but but now, in my younger days, say, from being able to walk until probably 15 or 16 years old, kids wasn't allowed in there. Mm-hmm. Absolutely no. Couldn't come in the front door. And I don't think they really ever, the community-wise, never took the Blue Front to be a place to consider going out. The Blue Front more or less seemed like the living room of a big house or a big family gathering room. They would always come there, be it Saturday, Sunday, and decide where they would say, where you going out tonight? Well, my thing, you already out. You're at the Blue Front, but they didn't consider that as going out. They considered somebody to go hang out until they decide to go to other places.
Or they might not ever leave. They might end up staying the whole night.
But they still didn't consider it as going out.
Yeah. At one point, and I'm not sure if this is still the case, but the Blue Front Cafe wasn't just a bar. It was a barber shop. It was a grocery store.
Yeah.
And we could say that now, I guess. You won't get in trouble. I believe you could get bootleg liquor around there.
Yeah, boy. Well, I say it or not, I got a big sign sitting in front of it, got it writ all over. So, but I say if you come, you go.
It didn't say bootleg liquor on it, did it?
Oh yeah, moonshine.
Oh, all right.
But anyway, it played whole. For one reason, it was a cotton gin about maybe 30 or 40 yards, just opposite. So if you was a cotton farmer and brought cotton to the cotton mill on weekend, and you need to carry some salt, pepper, flour, something that you couldn't raise on the farm, my mom and dad had it there. And if you want to get your head bad while you're waiting to get your cotton processed, she had it there.
Okay.
Because sometimes, you probably ain't familiar with a cotton mill. You might come there on Saturday afternoon, and you didn't get your stuff taken care of till sometime late Sunday night or early Monday morning. So you could go there and get your a sandwich, like a few little staple items to take home and stuff like that. And in the back, if you want to get a haircut or want to bring your younger not to get a haircut, with a little barber shop in the back. And also during weekdays, when business was slow up front, my mom had what she called a pressing room. If you wash your clothes at home, you would bring them to the blue farm. My mom would iron them while you were waiting to get your cotton processed.
That place has more stuff than Walmart.
But now if
you can't get a haircut and your clothes pressed and.
But if you ever come down and look at it, you say, how in the world y'all did she do all that? It's a little small place, but she did it.
Yeah. We only got a couple more minutes, so I want to circle back to this style of playing that you're doing, and the fact that you've been traveling. You've done some global touring now. You brought this music elsewhere. How do you feel about the idea of this music in terms of like it's got to continue? How is it going to continue?
Well, I got a grandson. He's wanting to do it, and that makes all the difference in the world. That makes now when I get back home sometime across the week, he gonna want me to show him what songs I played when I was down here.
All right.
And that's what happened to me. Now, I'm not saying because he's only but 13, he probably won't just late with it constantly, but the seed will have already been planted. Like what happened to me. See, I first picked the guitar up in 1957. You put it down, pick it up, leave it alone for 4 or 5 years, and eventually it came to where I am now. So I feel like at some point in time, my grandson would say, if my son dead and gone, he'll hear some of my music, and he said, well, I can do that. And that's really what carried on. It sure ain't gonna be the money.
Well, this is not done for money, but it's done for something deeper.
Yeah, another thing, pretty much like anything else, you have to have a passion for it. And I got a passion for playing blues, especially Victorian style. And if you know that you take a hunter, he might have $100,000 for a gun, they never took a shot at nothing. Same thing about a fisherman. He's got a passion for it.
Yeah. All right, so I got time for maybe 1 or 2 questions, and then we can wrap it up. So any burning questions out there? Well, I'm going to have to personally thank you for continuing to bring a form of music that blues, jazz and blues are in many ways our most unique gift to the world. United States, most other things came from somewhere else, and we just picked it up. But the music that you're playing, the specific music that you're playing, is a true treasure. It's a national treasure. It's a treasure of the South. It's a treasure of the state of Mississippi. And we're so fortunate for that passion that you speak of.
And one other thing before I go, I think according to the state's record, Mississippi State, I also host or produce the oldest running out those blues festival in the state of Mississippi. This coming June would have been doing it 45 years. And the reason I say somewhere point in time, whatever you're doing, somebody's going to pick it up. Now, I was just before, because, getting old, you don't have a lot of energy. And my friend Michael came along 3 or 4 years ago, just out of blue sky. I had his daughter with him. And I guess he felt sorry for me. I was building a stage by myself. And he and his daughter, where is she? They came to help me finish it. They drove from Lafayette to Bentonia. And he's pretty much done all the footwork for the festival, because I guess he don't want it to follow. But I give him credit that it hadn't stopped, the festival-wise, Victorian Blues Festival. He popped up one Saturday, I guess it was about 100 degrees, and she was nothing but a toddler, and she was carrying nails and hammers, and we built that stage. And he's pretty much responsible for me being here.
Well, thank you as well. So, all right, let's hear from Jimmy Duck Holmes here.